This is Healing at Soul Level with your host, Shawna Williams. Shawna is here to provide various forms of healing that are non-invasive, that promote relaxation and aid the body in naturally healing itself by using ancient healing techniques that have been around for centuries. So please welcome the host of Healing at Soul Level, Shawna Williams.
Hello, and welcome to Healing at Soul Level. I'm your host, Shawna Williams. Well, when I first learned about the Akashic Records, I was skeptical, but I was open to it because I was already familiar with Reiki. I'd been seeing spirits since I was a child, but I knew that that wasn't normal, so I would keep my mouth shut. I didn't tell anybody about it. I remember my first encounter, I'd say I was around 12 years old. And I woke up and there was a man standing beside my bed. And I was like, okay, he's not supposed to be here. But he had this nice, sweet look about him. Like he just looked at me, he smiled, and he tilted his head and he folded his hands in front of him. And I just kept my eyes open. I was just staring at him because I knew if I blinked, he was going to go away. And eventually I blinked and he was gone. So the next morning I told my mom, I said, Mom, there was a man standing next to my bed last night. And the first thing she said was, what did he look like? I was like, wait a minute, Mom. I'm telling you, a man was standing by my bed last night. And the first thing you say is, what did he look like? And like, you don't want to call the cops or anything like that. And she said he was a spirit, right? So, that blew my mind. I didn't know that seeing spirits ran in my family. So as I got older, their presence became a little more sporadic. I'd see them sometimes or I'd hear them, but they weren't there all the time, just here and there. They'd show up for a little while, then nothing. And then they'd, be gone for a few months. Then they'd come back. But slowly, they began to contact me daily. And I mean, they became relentless. They seemed to know that I could either see them, hear them, smell them, or feel them. And I guess it depended on which of my sensitivities was strongest at the moment or how they could make themselves known to me easiest, All I know is they were constantly showing up, and it was beginning to cause me to have extreme anxiety. I honestly thought I was going to lose my mind. And this is in my adult years, so it's been going on for years. So I contacted my pastor and I told him, I said, I see dead people. Well, that didn't really help me. It didn't go over so well. All he wanted me to do was bind my insight, which caused a whole bunch of other crap to go wrong with me. It seemed like my health started deteriorating, and I was mentally I just felt like I was in a fog. So needless to say, I won't do that again. Anyway, I now know that what I was looking for when I went to my pastor was confirmation that everything was going to be okay. And the spirits weren't going to hurt me, and I wasn't doing anything wrong. I wasn't calling them. They were just contacting me because I was wide open. So, in my quest to find out if what I had was a gift or a curse and how to calm the constant chattering in my head, I found a class for Akashic Records. I already knew that I was a highly sensitive person, even empathic, and I naturally always felt that I had to feel my way through life. So I am so sorry. My throat is messing up on me today. So what I did was I would always heavily rely on other people's energy to make my decisions. So I would wait and see how the situation felt, whether the room felt safe or whether I felt like I could talk with a person or what move to make, depending on what energy I got from them. Let me give you an example. In my early 20s or my late teens, I went to a store that I was familiar with because I wanted to have a bug juice. If you've never had a bug juice, man, that's a good drink. So anyway, I went in to go get that, and I looked around. There was no one in the store. Bent down to get my bug juice, and I stepped up, turned around, and ran smack into the middle of the chest of this huge guy. And I looked up at him, and his face was just, he was angry. I don't know who he was angry at, but I could tell at that moment he was going to take it out on me. So instantly, it's like as if my gifts, they came. And I looked up at him and I said, I am so sorry that I ran into you. I didn't see you. I hope you're having a good day. How are you today? And his frown started loosening up. I put my hand on his arm and I said, I hope you have a wonderful day. And I just became as charming as I could. And I gave him my famous Shawna smile, the biggest grin I could. And by the end of it, he was smiling at me. And the exchange was, it was short. It wasn't really long, but it was enough to make him feel more calm. And I could feel his energy. I could feel the anger and the hatred releasing from him. And I felt more calm. And so I paid for my stuff and I got in my car. By that time, he had come outside. He didn't buy anything. So I knew at that time, like I said, he didn't come in to purchase anything. He just came in because he was angry and he wanted to take it out on someone. And he smiled and waved and he walked on and he was smiling the whole time. So that was a good thing. And I was happy about that. So anyway, the Akashic Records, when I found a teacher, she had an incredible energy. It was really strong, it was nice, and it was inviting. So I decided, hey, I'll give this a try. I was amazed and at times put off by what she was teaching me, but deep down I knew she was correct. See, the thing is, the truth isn't always easy to hear or readily wanted. But when you open yourself up to it, just as it is, no fluff, no dumbing it down, no making excuses, you'll begin to see the light of who you really are. And at that point, you can decide what you want to do from there. So anyway, my teacher called what I had a gift. Really, a gift. All these spirits causing me to have sleepless nights and anxiety was a gift, right? Yeah, okay. No, those were just side effects of my gift. Through the records, I found out I was a natural healer and I was created from divine love. No wonder strangers would come to me and spill their guts. They would tell me everything. About their marriages, their love lives. I couldn't believe they would tell me the things that they tell me. And then afterwards they'd say, wow, I don't know why I told you that, but I feel great. Okay, well, I feel like crap. So anyway, that was also why spirits was coming to me. And they were coming from everywhere. What it is I have like this loving light that gives off a safe and comforting energy naturally. My gift is to nurture and hold a sacred space for people to heal in a judgment-free zone. So it's almost like when you think about a light pole at night when it's dark outside and all you can see is the light. And you see all of the animals and the bugs go into the light is because they're drawn to it. And so energetically in a room, I'm giving off this beacon and I'm letting people know, hey, come to me, come see me, come tell me what you need. I can help you out. I just didn't know I was doing that. And so my teacher, once she told me what it was and who I was, then I was taught how to tune it down a little bit so that I wasn't just an open beacon for everybody to come to. So I just needed a little training to learn how to cultivate my gifts and to make sure I was protected. But I needed to learn also how to keep my integrity and most of all, empower myself to know what I am in charge of in my life, including who and what I allow to contact me. So in other words, I choose to allow to or disallow events within my life. After all, that's why we have free will, which brings me right back to the Akashic Records again. See, the Akashic Records is an energetic database of sorts that stores all of your thoughts, feelings, actions, and events from the moment that you were first created. We're going to stop right there and we're going to take a quick break, and then I will come back and tell you a little bit more about the Akashic Records. Welcome back to Healing at Soul Level, and I'm your host, Shawna Williams. Today we've been talking about Akashic Records, and I was explaining a little bit about what it is, about the fact that it's an energetic database and it stores all of your thoughts and feelings and actions and events. It was all created from the moment that you were very first created. But it's just the facts. There aren't any embellishments or false information in these records. And believe me, we have enough juice in our records that we don't need to add anything else. So to access your records, all I would need is your full legal name, your full legal name at birth, your date of birth, and your place of birth. That's all I need. With this information, I can easily access your records. But this is where the integrity part comes in. I cannot access your records without your permission. So you can't contact me and ask me to access your records for, a boyfriend. Why doesn't he love me? Or your girlfriend. Why isn't she with me? Or anybody like that. I can access for your child, but I cannot access for another adult without their permission. There are small exceptions. If you are married, I'd have to do it case by case, be able to access records for your husband, only dealing with parts that are about you specifically. So, I'm not going to be able to tell you, yes, he's cheating on you or he's doing these things, but I can tell you if it's affecting your life, any of the things that he may be doing or she may be doing. So access is based on intention. And if my intention isn't pure or concise, I won't get accurate information. It'll be, I guess, kind of like what I might make up in my imagination. But if I don't know anything about you, there's not really anything I can make up. Also, neither myself nor anyone else can purposely or mistakenly add or delete information from your records. So that's one less thing to worry about, right? So the first reading I normally do on a new client is the Divine Soul Profile. Of course, there are always exceptions to the rules, but since my readings are based on healing and understanding, I don't do curiosity-based readings. Human nature is to always be curious, but it can distract from your current reality, and I'm not trying to contribute to an already easily distracted world. So in the Divine Soul Blueprint, you'll learn from what creator substance you are most abundantly made. And when you know what you're made of and how you're made, you'll realize that many of the ways that you act or react to a situation is because of your gifts. You will be validated on why, you are the way that you are, and also find out how you were or how you are when you're unbalanced. I also tell you how and why you may be out of balance. For example, as I said earlier, I'm created abundantly from divine love. Even though for most of my life I've been a loner, I held my feelings and shunned deep relationships. I choose jobs that would have little human interaction, like working in a warehouse. I'd only work with, somebody that was right next to me. And I felt lonely all of the time. Even in a room full of people, it seems like I felt lonely. Well, guess what? Divine love is all about relationships and love and healing people. So imagine that. I'm a natural healer. I guess I kind of already knew that, right? I need to be around people, and most of all, I need deep, meaningful relationships. And I had to remind myself it's okay to cry sometimes. You know, if something makes me mad, I can shed a tear. I don't always have to man up. And I will tell you where you're first incarnated and how it's the most vibrationally matched place for you to begin your, third dimensional journey. Oh, and I'll also tell you what your soul purpose is. And matter of fact, I can tell you what that is right now. Drum roll, please. It's to experience life in a third dimensional realm. Wow. That was a load off of my shoulders when I found that one out. Contrary to popular belief, we are not here for some big purpose. We don't have some giant mission. We don't need to do anything that's going to save the world or something really big. Because see, in the spiritual world, there isn't any tangible items. We can't hug someone or own anything or even live your life as an individual. The spirit realm is all energy. I mean, everything's energy, but here on Earth, we are at the densest existence of energy that there is. The spirit realm is the lightest existence of the same energy. So in order to experience yourself as an individual, you choose to be incarnated at this time. You hear that? You choose to be incarnated at this time. Depending on how many times you've incarnated and the choices you made in those incarnations, that allows you to incarnate into situations that is a vibrational match for you. This is why some people incarnate into what would be considered a happy household, while others incarnate into a not so great or maybe even horrible household. It didn't just happen to you, and it wasn't a roll of the dice. You chose the family that was most vibrationally a match for you at the time of your existence. There's so much more I could tell you about this, but it's only an hour show, so, I'm going to move on a little bit, but we are at choice. That's why we have free will. Nothing just happens to us. We choose everything. It may sound harsh, but it's the truth. So next, I'll tell you about the blocks or restrictions you have in your life due to your own free will. Again, like I said, nothing ever happens to us, and we create everything within our world. Through intention and action, we create patterns of attraction or karma, which attracts situations and circumstances into our lives, whether that be positive or negative is our choice. I'm going to stop right here and cut for a break, and I will be right back. Hi, I'm Shawna Williams. I'm the host of Healing at Soul Level. Today we've been talking about Akashic Records, and I have been telling you how I do my Akashic Records readings and basically how you're at choice to do what you want to do within your life, and things don't just happen to you. You choose things to happen in your life because of the choices that you make. So let me give you a quick example. Let's just say that you are made from a creative type of energy. I'm just throwing something out there. So you're just, you're supposed to be a painter or something like that. Everything you do within your life should be very creative. Your house, your car, the way you dress should be all creative. But instead, you decide, I'm going to be an accountant, and I'm going to wear this gray suit every day, and I'm not going to have any creativity in my life. Everything's going to have white walls, and, that's all I'm going to have. That would be a negative choice to your divinity. So I see things as positive and negative. There are no good and bad that I actually see in life, because the choices we make are either positive or they're negative to our divinity. And that's what causes you to become a lower vibration. And that's how you don't get to be where you want to be within this lifetime. So when you find out, and you actually already know who you are, when you come and talk with me, basically, I just give you the confirmation to know who you are. So you'll know when I give you a reading or when someone else gives you a reading, even if it's not me, because again, maybe I'm not a vibrational match for you. So you may need to find another Akashic Record reader. But whenever you find out this information, it's just a confirmation of what you already know deep down inside. So one of the things that I do is, like I said, I tell you about your blocks and restrictions. These occur whenever you are creating negative choices to your divinity. So what I do is I'll show you how your past choices have led to where you are presently. And remember, like I always keep saying, you are exactly where you are supposed to be in life right now. And that's vibrationally speaking, of course. If you're not where you want to be, then you need to change that. And change starts at the level of action. So you would have to change your mindset and then follow through with action. And then you can start making your changes, but you need to make it congruent to your divinity. So remember also, change doesn't happen overnight. It took you many years and in some cases, many lifetimes to get to where you are right now. So it's not going to change overnight. It's going to take a little time to get to where you want to be in life, because again, we have to still go by the natural of the 3D world. You know, you can't live just in a spiritual world and jump from A to B. You have to go through, because again, we're dense in this 3D world. You have to go through steps to get to where you want to be, and you have to change things that way. I will also temporarily clear all of your blocks and restrictions. So basically, I'll just hit a reset button. The reason why the clearing is temporary is because, as the saying says, if you continue to do the same thing that you've always done, then you will always get the same results. So me hitting this button just helps you to shift into a different pattern so that it makes it easier for you to make these changes. And then as you make the changes, you will shift into a more permanent pattern of thinking and action aligned with your divine soul profile. What I do is make it easier for you to change your thoughts and patterns. And like I said before, this will lead to changing your action, which will lead to allowing more vital force energy into your being. That's the whole purpose of this. Vital force energy is the energy that comes through you while you're sleeping, and it helps you recharge, energize, and heal your body naturally. When we don't get enough of this vital force energy, then we start to have problems. But when you get enough of that, it'll bring a world of change to you. It'll bring abundance into all areas of your life. You'll have financial, mental, physical, psychological. You'll attract all of this in abundance in the correct way. And you'll also be able to kind of make sure you know who you attract and what you attract. All of this will be in abundance. It'll be a good thing. It'll always be for your higher good and for your higher purpose. So whenever you are out of alignment and whenever you have many negative choices to your divinity, you start having problems. Your body warns you when you're out of balance. Normally it starts off with something as simple as fatigue. You know, you don't really know why. You just seem to be tired all the time. Or, you know, something along those lines. You're just not right. Something's off. But then as you continue to make these negative choices, it moves into mental confirmation. You know, I don't feel well. You know, I need to exercise more. I need to eat better. I need to, stop smoking or stop stressing. I need to do these things to make myself feel better. But then you continue to make these negative choices and you still don't change anything. Then if you ignore all of these signs, the last line of defense for your body to tell you that you aren't getting enough vital force energy is disease. And if left untreated, it can become chronic. Now, I'm not saying that every disease is due to not living your divinity, but since vital force energy is how your body naturally repairs itself, I'd say a limitation of healing energy will cause you to have illnesses. If your body is made to heal itself and you do things that will limit that energy, then yes, it's not going to help you any. I do need to stop real quick and take a quick break, and I will be right back. Hello, and welcome back to Healing at Soul Level. And I'm your host, Shawna Williams. I've been talking to you today about Akashic Records and your choices that can make you have a good life in your point of view, or a seemingly bad life. I do know that we have a caller right now. His name is Curtis. Curtis, you there?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. Second time caller to the show.
Yeah. Yep. So, did you have? Go ahead.
I've been listening, and it is, you're talking about karma, and then you're talking about divine soul or your divinity. And I started thinking, well, is it still spirit that is still involved? Because I'll give an example. A lot of times people will use this expression, I don't know what made me do that, or I don't know why I did that, or something made me do that. And so is that intentions, or is that just karma? Because, in other words, it's almost like people don't really know. They just, you know what I'm saying? When people go, I don't know why I did that.
Lots of times that's excuse. They know exactly why they did that. They just don't want to tell you. Sometimes there is another reason why, like I've actually done a reading for somebody who actually had another soul within their body. So basically it was almost like they were, I guess in layman terms, you would say possessed, but it doesn't really work like that. Really what it is that they had another soul that kind of shares the body with them that shouldn't be there. And I can clear that soul out and send them on to their next journey. And so sometimes they're not sure why they did it, but it's not a complete, like they don't have any control. It's not like that. They just feel like they want to.
People will say, that wasn't my intention, because again, we're talking about what your true intentions are, how you want to live through that. And
so many people are not clear with their intentions to begin with.
Okay.
You can say, oh, well, I want to do this, but they're wavering back and forth within their mind or within their actions. And so the universe doesn't know what you really want to do. You might say, I want this house, but then in your mind, you're saying, well, I don't know if I can really afford it. I don't know if I can keep up the yard work, and I don't know. So then you're giving off mixed, information. So the universe is like, okay, so do you want this house or don't you want this house? You say you want this house, but then you're telling me you're not sure you want this house. You see what I'm saying? So
okay, so it's focused on it's more of focusing on what your intentions, your true intentions are, and building around that.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly right.
Because people use karma as an excuse too.
Yes, they do.
In other words, saying that again, like I said, I don't know why that happened to me. It must be bad karma. I'm just saying I hear these common expressions that we use to explain ourselves, our actions.
The funny thing about that is people will say, oh, I don't know why that happened to me. It must be bad karma. But then when something good happens to them, they don't say, oh, that must be karma. They say, oh, I was lucky, or, I was blessed. It's all karma. It really is.
Right.
It's an equal and opposite reaction to what you've done. It's almost like science. So,
Well, for my reading, that's really where I found myself trying to understand what my true intentions are and how do I stay focused and act on that. Because as you know, I'm really not a process person. I'm more of, I just want to get to the end result. And sometimes,
Yeah.
I lose focus. Yeah, I lose focus. So, well, that was good. Keep up the great work, sweetheart. Love listening to your show. And
Thank you.
I got to go back to work.
Okay. Thanks for calling
Talk
in.
to you later.
Okay.
All right.
Bye. So, like our last caller was just saying, our intentions are not always, I don't want to say pure. They're indecisive. We think we want something, or we say we want something, and then we don't follow through with that. We just kind of floating around, just trying to see what pops up instead of creating it for ourselves. And you're going to create something. You need to know exactly what you want to create. Don't have things pop up and you don't know where it came from. And then you realize later on, well, yeah, I created this, without really realizing you created it because you didn't have clear intentions. Clear intentions is what you need in order to live an abundant life. And clear intentions need to be set according to your divinity. So it comes down to choices you've made and continue to make about and within your life. So when you begin to live your life according to your divinity, which is basically how you're made, life will become easier. Life shouldn't be hard. It should be easy. Lots of times we're taught, you have to go through these trials and you have to, pay your dues and you have to, forget that, forget it all. Yes, there's learning processes and, there's things that you have to do because, again, we're in third dimensional body. We're in a third dimension reality. But it doesn't have to be hard. You make it hard. I make it hard. We all make it hard for no reason. There's no reason for it to be this hard. I mean, why would you choose to come to Earth and have an existence and make it hard? And if you are in a vibrational level where things are going to be hard, you can change that yourself and you can make it better. It's just not that difficult when we stop fighting against who we are naturally. If you do what comes natural to you, and if you're not sure what that is, again, you can come to me, get a reading, find out what that is, and you'll know right then whether or not that is really who you are or not. I mean, you'll tell me, no, that doesn't sound like me, or that's exactly me. I read for this one guy and he said, no, this is not happening. He said, you should not know this much about me. He said, this doesn't make sense. I'm not telling him what he's done in his daily life. I'm just telling him who he is, like his total essence, what he really feels like. And that just blew his mind. But it also made him very happy because I just validated why he was the way that he was. And it made him feel good. He was like, it makes me feel empowered that I can do these things and that I've been doing these things. And when people tell me, for him, he had divine communication. So when people were telling him, you talk too much, you need to be quiet, he was like, no, he was just a little out of balance. So the things he was saying was a little off kilter. Once we got together and we worked together to get him balanced, then when he talked, it was like a symphony. Everything made sense. And he was just a wealth of knowledge was just pouring out of him at all times. I'm going to stop right here because I think that's a good place to stop. And we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Welcome back to Healing at Soul Level. I'm your host, Shawna Williams. Today, we've been talking about Akashic Records and how it can help you create a life that you want. It lets you know who you are at soul level, and it teaches you how you are and how you react to certain situations. It also can tell you, where you're at when you're unbalanced. So if you need, or if you want to change certain things, certain things don't need to be changed about you. That's who you are. Once you accept that and learn to love that, then again, things will flow for you easier. We accept who we are, we love who we are, and we just move on. But it's just an empowering thing to know, and then you start realizing, how you've changed yourself from your divinity because somebody else may not like it. Well, then maybe you and that person are not a vibrational match. And that's okay. They don't need to change. You don't need to change. It's just it's not conducive to the relationship because y'all vibrationally are not where you're supposed to be. Or you can also learn about somebody else through a relationship reading. I also give relationship readings, and relationships are, husband and wife, partners, parent, child, siblings, maybe your best friend. So it's not always a romantic. It can be someone else within your life that you just want to get to know them better and have them get to know you better. And so then the two of you can understand each other better and understand why you do the things that you do. So anyway, so as I said before, we're exactly where we're supposed to be in life vibrationally. And whether you believe it to be a happy life or a crappy life, you choose your life through past and present life choices. There's a whole world full of information that I can give you just by reading your records, as long as I have a clear intent on what it is that you need. Some people come to me because they are having medical problems. Now, I'm not a doctor, and I don't advise you to stop seeking actual medical advice, or even if you're seeing a psychologist, or psychiatrist, I don't advise you to stop seeing them. The Akashic Records is a add-on or an enhancement to this. It's not a replacement for it. So along with reading your Divine Soul Blueprint profile, I can also read about your life situations. So as I said before, you might have health problems. You might be having, situations with your job, or maybe you're running your own business. You could be running your own business and you may have issues because maybe you can't concentrate in a certain room, or, maybe your child is all of a sudden acting up and you can't figure out why, or, you seem to be attracting more problems. Things keep breaking down in your house, things like that. These are situations within your life, and I can help you figure out what those are. What we do is we drill down backwards to find out what the root cause is of these situations. Then we clear it, and then I tell you how you can change that by changing situations within your life. You can also check on your chakra. Your chakras are the 7 points within your body, the energy centers, and they start with your root and go all the way up to your crown. I can tell you if they're out of balance, and then I can balance them for you. And then we can check back again and see where you're at. Chakra balances, those can change so easily. It just depends on what you're doing. So, but that's still a cool thing to know about yourself. I've even had somebody come to me because they felt like the energy in their house, there was something just not right. That would be a property reading. And come to find out, they actually had a portal open in their house. So they had spirits coming and going within their own free will within their house, and it was causing disruption for them. And they could feel it. They just didn't know what it was. And so for me to read this property reading, that's how I found out about that for them. And I was able to clear that, and we could move on with that as well. So those are just a few of the other readings that I do. It's complementary to Reiki. Sometimes Reiki energy, that's another modality that I do, can actually help you have a calm mind and help you be able to see situations better so that you're able to make the changes that you need to make within your Akashic Records so that you can have, like I said, easier, more abundant life. But, it's up to you. I do not judge. If you want to change things about your life, you can do it. I'm just letting you know that you have the power. You are a powerful being. You have creative substance within you. I mean, you can't have anything more powerful than that within your being. And if you want to make changes, you can. And you can bring things within your life, and you can keep things out of your life, all through your own free will, your intentions, and your actions. This is something that I learned, just a few years ago. So it's not like it's something that I always knew, and I'm still working on myself as well. There's always problems and situations that come up, and you can be at certain levels within your spirituality, and that's how you figure out where you're at. I can tell you where you're at in your spirituality so that you know where you need to go from there. We're going to stop right here and take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Hello, and welcome back to Healing at Soul Level. I'm your host, Shawna Williams. So today we've been talking about the Akashic Records, and I was explaining to you on how I can help you have a better understanding of yourself. And when you have a better understanding of yourself, then you can do things easier because okay, well, this situation is going to cause me to do this, or it's going to cause me to do that, or I'm going to react in this way. And it's okay because that's who I am. And I don't need to make excuses for anybody. I don't need to apologize to anybody. As long as I'm authentic to myself, that's all that I need to be. And that's what I try and tell my clients. That's what I try and teach them, to love themselves and to be authentic to themselves and to have integrity. So when you come to me, I can give you a soul profile reading. It's basically a blueprint of how you were made. I tell you who you are, where you were first incarnated, how many spirit guides you have. I tell you any blocks and restrictions you may have. I tell you, things that you should do to help improve your quality of life. And I teach you how to fix these blocks and restrictions and how to change your pattern so that when you have your karma, it goes from, because karma is karma. You're going to have karma. It's just, when you do something, you have a reaction. So you can decide whether your karma is going to be a positive one or a negative one. Because either way, you're still experiencing life, and that's the only reason why you're here, is to experience life. But you can experience it in a positive way, or you can experience it in a negative way. As I've been saying throughout this whole time, it's your choice. So the last thing that we do is I also tell you where your blocks and restrictions were first started. So I give you a soul story about what happened, whether it was in this lifetime or whether it was in a past lifetime. I tell you whether you've incarnated as a female or as a male. And I can tell you the whole little situation surrounding why you started this pattern. And if I'm telling you this information, it's because the pattern is still present in your life today. And these patterns, again, of blocks and restrictions are things that we want to change, because that way we can get things to be where you want it to be. So now you can decide what you want to do with all this information that I just laid on you and decide to make a change in your life or live it as you always have. As I've been saying throughout the whole show, the choice is yours. You have free will, and there's no judgment here. You decide what you want to do. And it's okay with me. It should be okay with you. What I'd like for you to do is to tune in next week and learn about Thai yoga therapy with Diana Roll from Diana School of Yoga. She has this technique that is just so cool to me. I've been to her classes before. I learned about her aerial yoga. That's like a parachute hanging from the ceiling and you do yoga poses on that. That is so cool, but it's strength challenging, but it's really a great thing. But we're going to talk about Thai yoga therapy next week. And if you'd like to know more information about Reiki, or if you'd like to know more information about Akashic Records, you can visit my website at indigo-qi.com. If you'd like to book a session with me, you'd go to indigo-qi.com/services. And also, if you have a modality that you'd like to share and be on my show, then email me at Shawna@indigo-qi.com. You've been listening to Healing at Soul Level, and I'm your host, Shawna Williams. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll talk with you next week.
This has been Healing at Soul Level with host Shawna Williams. Listen each week as Shawna will help you discover the different healing modalities and how to use them in your everyday life, right here on Shawna Williams' Healing at Soul Level.